This is Michael Orrell of mobileburn.com, and today I have with me the Garmin nuvifone G60 for at&t. This device is going to be selling for $299 after rebates, pretty expensive. It's also marketed as the garmin-asus nuvifone G60 in other parts of the world. You can see it's a very simple slab, large touchscreen display. It's 480 by 272 pixel. No controls really on the front at all, just a speaker, microphone. Left-hand edge, lanyard fixing point, micro SD card slot for augmenting the 4 gig of internal storage it has, mounting point for the car adapter for mounting it to a windshield, and of course a mini USB port. On the back we have a 3 megapixel autofocus camera and a speaker grill, another fixing point here for the car mount. On the right edge, volume control and the 2-stage camera shutter button. Nothing really much to see on the bottom, and up top is a 2.5mm headphone port and the power button, which is quite large and easy to press. Show you the car mount. You can see it's very similar to the car mounts used for dedicated Garmin navigation devices. Mounts very easily. Just grab this button, pull forward, it comes right off again. Very easy to do. Nice quality suction cup mount here. Ball joint, very stiff, position it any way you want. It's really a nice car mount. If we give that button a quick press, the screen activates and you can see the lock icon. We double tap the lock icon to activate the device. Works in portrait and landscape mode, so we're going to switch to landscape mode since that's how most people are going to see it when they're in the car, and it also fits the video better. This is the main menu. These 3 items here are always visible. It's call, search, and view map. And the scrolling section along the bottom is where all the rest of the menu items are. They can be rearranged, but they seem to be in pretty good order right off the bat. You see we have contacts, text messages, email, web browser, and notice the kinetic scrolling. Scrolling's quite nice on the device. Everything bounces into place. We'll jump into the call section of the phone. Take a look at some of the functionality there. You can see there's a call history, dial pad, and quick access to the contacts. Contacts sync from Microsoft Outlook. Very Spartan program for doing that, though. You really have no control over what it does. I connected it and it automatically synced all contacts and all calendar appointments, so I had really no control over it all. Can search. You can see we've got a on-screen QWERTY keyboard here. You can search on both first and last name, bring up a contact. When you bring up a contact, you can immediately go to their address if there's an address assigned to it. So I can hit that, or I can send them a text message, I can call them, or I can view the contact record just by tapping there. Again, nice scrolling throughout. The user interface isn't really that compact. Everything is kind of large, but I guess that's, large in terms of real estate, not necessarily large in terms of font size. So I think it's a bit of a miss there. They could have either made it, got more things on the screen, or they could have made it easier to read, depending on what they were trying for. As is, it's just kind of a little bit of a waste. You'll notice on long scrolling lists, you can always use the page up and page down, which just kind of like acts as a quick finger swipe for you, but make sure that you don't miss anything. In all parts of the system, you're going to see this back button because that's the only way to get back to the prior screen or to eventually get to the main menu. You just have to keep hitting it. Easy to spot, but a hardware button that took you back to the home screen would be much more sensible. This is the text messaging system on the nuvifone G60. You can see there's always the ever-present back button. This is a menu button. But again, small fonts, even though it takes up a lot of screen real estate. They're kind of missing the mark here on the user interface, it seems. Create a new message. We'll add a contact. Look up my buddy Jack Black. Pick his mobile number, hit the back button here. Enter a message. Now, of course, this is QWERTY mode. Now you can see that there's word prediction. This is a test I typed, but if you see where it says ament, as in testament, if I hit the auto button, it'll fill in the rest of the word that it's predicting. and 2 spaces automatically put in a period. There's also portrait mode text input, but unfortunately, I don't know if this is a trend or something. It's ABC ordered. We just saw this on another device. Really difficult to use because it's not like a keyboard, and it's not like a keypad you would find on a normal phone. It makes it difficult to hunt and peck around. As you can see. We'll hit done and send off the message. You can see it's threaded SMS. If we go back into this message, you can ignore that message for now. You can see how the threaded SMS works. You can see I also sent an address, and you can use this right from the messages. You can send somebody your current address or a particular address that you've found, or somebody can send one to you and you go right to the map. It's really quite nice. There's decent email support on the nuvifone G60. You can see I have email configured already, 10 unread messages it appears. This is a Gmail account. I typed in the address, the password, it handled everything else. Not the greatest email client, but it's pretty workable. There's no formatted text or anything like that, but nice scrolling and attachment reading support. You can read most Office docs. You see this is formatted text, bolds, italics, and they're not coming through. You can load them up in the web browser to see the formatted text, but unfortunately the web browser, as we'll point out again later, there's no intelligent zooming. So when I zoom in, okay, now I can read the text, but you can't actually see the whole screen at once. Press the menu button here to delete or mark it unopened, and of course the ever-present back button. I'm going to turn on Wi-Fi before I show you the browser because it's quite slow at rendering pages, and I want you to understand that it's not the 3G HSDPA data connection that's the issue, because this Wi-Fi connection is quite speedy. The browser actually is quite frustrating to use. It does a very good job of rendering pages. It's just so slow. This should be pulling up the Mobile Burn website. And you'll see a lot of this indicator here in the center, which doesn't even spin all that much. It just kind of locks up a lot. And now the page finally appears to be loaded, and I can actually do something with it. Most of the time when that indicator is showing that it's busy, you can't do much of anything. But as you can see, it renders quite nicely. Everything is very accurately placed. No intelligent zooming that I can find. You see the zoom controls down here. So sometimes it's a little difficult to get things to a readable state. If the text area box is too wide, you may have to zoom in too much in order to be able to see the font, yet not be able to see the full width of the text you're reading, as you can see is the case right here. But otherwise, the controls seem to work pretty nicely. Pop up the menu there so you can see keyboard for entering in URLs. So the downside is definitely the rendering speed, but it does a really good job of rendering the pages. No flash support though, so you won't be watching YouTube videos or anything on this. I'm going to activate the camera by long pressing on the shutter button here. See, it comes up quite quickly. Press it in halfway to focus. Box goes green, you press it the rest of the way to take the photo. Pretty simple, works pretty well. You have options for adding GPS positioning data. But few other options. It's a very simple camera application. There's no on-screen controls, there's no settings, just a button to the gallery. No swipe gestures, you have to use the on-screen controls, and loading the photos is pretty slow. And of course you have to back out of everything to get back to the main menu.